top of the habitat, so if you're smack up against that acrylic, you may prick your neck a little bit. I also want you to be able to turn your heads with some mild comfortability to check out our TV screens now, because we now have switched over to a live stream of the top of Ocean Voyager, which will be important when we get more into our feed. But firstly, I just want to welcome everyone to Georgia Aquarium, more specifically Ocean Voyager, brought to you by Home Depot. My name is Danielle, and I'll be narrating for you today. We will be able to witness our feed again through the acrylic, gazing towards the top of the habitat and our TV monitors. But when that feed gets a little more underway, I'll launch into it. I do first just like to mention a few facts about our habitat here because it's pretty impressive. Ocean Voyager is one of the largest indoor aquatic habitats in North America. Inside our acrylic window here, we have held back approximately 6.3 million gallons of artificial salt water. The dimensions of our habitat here are roughly the dimensions of an American football field minus its end zones, and there's natural light coming in. So if we're looking to the back, we cannot see all the way to the back of this habitat here. We are perfectly safe on this side of our acrylic because acrylic is 17 times stronger than glass, but this is also our thickest acrylic window. If you take a little slight look over here, these two gentlemen are sitting by a big chunk, a literal slice of our acrylic window here. So it is about 2 feet thick. So we are safe on this side. So our whale sharks and a couple of our other predatory species, such as our other sharks or our groomers in this habitat, we will target feed these creatures. So there is an aquarium staff member that will directly give the food to these animals. So on our screens now, you'll notice we have aquarium staff members in white inflatable rafts. They are along a white rope. It's a paracord rope that goes all the way across the habitat, creating separate lanes. Each staff member will get in their own lane in their boat and pull themselves along that rope in their own lane. You'll notice a white long pole with a bucket scoop on the end of it. While they pull themselves along that rope, that's how they will dispense the food to those whale sharks. They smack that bucket on top of the water, and that's the signal to those whale sharks. You must come to the top of the habitat to get your food. Through positive reinforcements, our whale sharks have learned this specific way to target feed. Though it's a little hard to see, I didn't mention we cannot see the back of our habitat. We cannot see the totality of topside on those screens. Does anyone know how many whale sharks we are feeding right now?
3.
I heard 3, I heard 2, I saw 4. If you said 4, you are correct. We've got 2 boys and 2 girls in our habitat. However, Ocean Voyager was specifically built to house 6 fully grown whale sharks. So the 4 we have in there now have plenty of room to grow. But the largest fish we have here, the whale shark, its mouth is nearly 4 feet wide, but it eats the smallest thing in the ocean. They are filter feeders. And that's because their throat, their esophagus, is only about the size of an American quarter. So they physically cannot swallow anything larger than that. So in those little buckets you see, we've got krill, silver sides, which is a fish maybe as big as a pinky. We chop up squid for hydration, and we'll mix in some fish-based aquatic gel for extra vitamins and nutrients that they may be losing from being in a hand-carry setting. So like I mentioned, that aquarium staff member pulls himself along the rope, smacking that bucket on top of the water, saying, "Whale shark, come get your food." Each whale shark knows what lane they specifically need to be in to be fed. It's not just a free-for-all. When those buckets smack and they just go crazy at the top, they know exactly which lane he or she needs to be in to receive their food. We are giving our whale sharks a combined weight of approximately 200 pounds of food per day. But that's a-okay with us because we love our whale sharks. When our whale shark does approach the top of the habitat, they just open their mouth as that food spills into the water in front, pulling in not only their food, but a lot of water as well. So when a whale shark does pass, after they get that food, pay attention to the gill slits. That would be right in front of that first pectoral fin. You may see those gill slits billowing open and closed, maybe some bubbles erupting from them. And that is that filtration process. They're scooping in water and food, The gill rakes in the back of their throat will catch the small food particles, but allow the water to escape the gill slits. Eventually, a ball of food kind of forms, and then they'll swallow that tiny ball whole through that small esophagus. You may notice our manta rays have their cephalic lobes extended down in front of their mouths right now. That's a common feeding behavior for the mantas because they are filter feeders as well. So they're trying to get some of those extra particles of food floating around from the whale shark feed. You also may see them doing backflips or barrel rolls. And that is also a common feeding behavior. Those cephalic lobes are down. They're using their natural body weight to carry their body down, expel the water from the gills. It kind of jets them up a little bit, and they can repeat that cycle to save energy instead of wasting a bunch going back and forth gathering their food. We also have a lot of smaller fish in this habitat, many schooling species. I cannot imagine hand feeding and target feeding each one of those smaller schooling fish. So our other method of feeding is a broadcast feed. You'll notice a bunch of fish gathering in this upper corner up here. The water looks a little cloudy. That is a broadcast feed happening. We've got several tubes that lead into several sections of the habitat, and they will pump out a solution of their food at different times of the day in several locations to give those smaller schooling fish equal opportunity to get their food. It'll mostly be, again, that fish-based aquatic gel and bloodworms mostly in those broadcast feeds. If you do have an aquarium at home and you dump your fish food on the top and many come to the surface at once to eat, you are also doing a broadcast feed to feed your animals. Now, one question we do get quite a lot when people hear we've got 2 boys and 2 girls is, are our whale sharks going to have babies? We actually have no idea if they will. We're not sure exactly of the age of our whale sharks because their birth was not witnessed by us. They were originally scooped up off the coast of Taiwan by fishermen, and they were going to go on that fisherman's market as steak or sushi. Once we found out they had them corralled in a pen kind of on the coast by that market, we intervened and asked if we could purchase them living instead. Thus started their journey here to Georgia. We had special shipping containers built out of fiberglass that had to have a constant current running in it so that water could pass their gill systems. They traveled over 30 hours, over 8,000 miles, taking one stop in Alaska to refuel, before coming here to our aquarium, where they were crane lifted up and over a section of our Ocean Voyager habitat that has a garage almost lid to it. They were about half the size.
And then I changed it, and then I deleted them, and he had a big ass, so that was pretty well.